Good. All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first edition of The Talk with AVC. My name is Andrew Vancura, but a lot of people call me AVC, so we'll just go with that right now. It's shorter, it's sweeter, everybody likes it better. All right. So this is mostly going to be a sports talk show. If I can do other stuff people want, but you'd have to let me know that. Just find me around campus, or if you're my friend, just message me. So what I'm going to start with is just some MLB news. Just going to start with that. Then we're going to move into like football and stuff like that. We'll start with baseball. So the regular season is winding down. We got about a week and a half left. So we're moving into the final playoff prep. The teams are pretty much figured out, at least in the American League. It's definitely going to be the Astros, the Yankees, Twins, and the A's are probably going to get the home wild card spot. Really, the only spot is Cleveland and Tampa for that second spot. It's probably going to be Tampa. Cleveland does not look great. Their starting pitching is kind of in shambles after they traded Trevor Bauer, and their lineup just isn't good enough. Even if they make it, they're going to lose to Oakland. And even if they somehow beat Oakland, they'd get swept by Houston. So that's not really much of a threat right there. Tampa, on the other hand, is getting a lot of their pitchers back. Their lineup is a little suspect, but they've got some guys. Got Austin Meadows. That's about it. He's pretty much carrying that team on his back. There's some other guys sprinkled in there, but they could be a dangerous team come playoff time. Any team that has good pitching, plays solid defense, and has some contact hitting is pretty good in the playoffs, and Tampa fits that mold. I myself am a Yankee fan, so obviously I'm very happy that the postseason is almost here. The Yankees are looking mostly really to try to get healthy and catch Houston for that home field advantage spot. Will they get it? It's tough. They'd have to pretty much probably at least go 4-1 in their last 5, beat Tampa at least once, and then sweep Texas, because the Astros have, I think, the Angels for all their games left, which is less than ideal if you're a Yankee fan. If you're an Astro fan, it's great because you're probably going to get home field advantage just because the Angels shut down Mike Trout, and they've got pretty much nobody left pitching or hitting for them. So as we move into the playoffs, we'll move into the AL again, still with the Yankees. They're really just trying to get healthy. Gary Sanchez may be going to be back for the ALDS, most likely the ALDS, but it's still kind of up in the air. Aaron Boone hasn't been completely specific on if he's coming, when exactly he's coming back yet. He says he hopes for the ALDS. Encarnacion should be back probably for the road series in Texas. Probably not going to be back for Tampa. Pitching, I took a blow, not with injury, but with stupidity with Domingo Germán. Why? This close to the playoffs? Seriously, you had the okay. It's a strange situation. I'm not really going to go too much into it because I don't know a ton of the details. Apparently, he slapped his girlfriend in public. Usually, there's like a video that's out about this. There isn't even one of those. So there's not much we know. All we know is he's not going to pitch again this year. Luis Severino's back. So that's good. They're going to need him. The question really is, what is the Yankees' rotation going to look like through the playoffs? I personally, I would have Tanaka pitch game 1 at home. He pitches a lot better at home. And then I would go with Severino, however many innings he could do, probably about 5, hopefully, maybe 4 or 5. It's playoffs. 4 or 5 is a solid start. And then in the ALDS for your first road series, probably against the Twins, I would pitch Paxton. And then game 4, if you had to go there, would probably be an opener, and then Happ or Sabathia out of the bullpen. That'd be my guess. And then game 5, I would go back to probably either Severino or Tanaka, something like that. Maybe even start Severino game 1, Tanaka game 2, whoever you feel more comfortable with going back. The key to the Yankees winning the World Series is going to be they're going to have to beat the Astros, obviously. Oakland might actually have a shot of beating Houston. They beat them a lot in the regular season, but in the playoffs, I don't really see that happening. They just don't have the pitching depth. Houston, it's going to come down to beating one of their starters, either Verlander or Garrett Cole. The easier one's probably Garrett Cole, as weird as that sounds. He just doesn't have the playoff track record that Verlander has. And quite honestly, he has sporadic postseason success compared to Verlander. Obviously, Greinke's not great against the Yankees, so I think they'll be fine with him. But it's going to come down to just beating the Astros, not only at home but on the road, which is going to be tough. Moving over to the National League, I pity you people who are Mets fans, but they've put together a solid season, and sadly, they are probably the most deserving team to make the wild card that won't make it. That's what's kind of sad right now. They're 4.5 out, and it's not injuries, it's not circumstance that's really bogging them down. It's the Mets getting in their own way. Some people are just not playing up to potential. The Mets bullpen includes Seth Lugo. Pretty sure that's about it. There's not really much happening in that bullpen, but it's got a team with a great starting rotation and a solid lineup that came out of nowhere. And you're not going to make the playoffs because every time we got hot, you would then go really cold. You couldn't find a middle ground, and now you're in the last week of the season with 4.5 games out of the wild card. So, and you just lost to Miami. So you'd have to win out and then hope whoever the second wild card teams are pretty much lose out. That would be how the Mets would get in. It's possible, but very unlikely. The rest of the National League is let's talk about, I guess, the NL Central. The Cardinals are going to lock down their division. They're the most complete team in that division. Their bullpen has played pretty well. Their lineup is not a lot of people know about the players in St. Louis just because St. Louis is a small market team. That's kind of how it's always been. It's obviously Paul Goldschmidt, Marcell Ozuna, Yadier Molina, guys like that are still carrying the torch in St. Louis, but their pitching is always very underrated, and they could be a sneaky World Series team. I could definitely see them beating the Dodgers strictly because they have a better bullpen. Mostly, it's going to come down in the National League to the wild card. To me, interesting because you got the Cubs who are just playing bad baseball right now. I don't know what's wrong with them ever since I do know what's wrong with them. They lost Javier Baez, and now Chris Bryant is probably hurt. Rizzo is just coming back off injury, so they're kind of in rough shape right now. Their starting pitching isn't that great. Neither is the bullpen. Kimbrel has been an awful signing. So the Cubs, they might actually make it, but they're just not great. They'll get beat in the wild card game by I'm trying to remember who's in the wild card right now. But the rest of the NL is pretty much it's the Dodgers obviously locking down their division, the Braves obviously locking down their division. The Dodgers, they're probably going to make the NLCS again. They're just good enough to do that. They have a great starting rotation. They have a great lineup. Their issue is going to come with the bullpen. They just don't have anybody on the back end that's consistent. I mean, Kenley Jansen used to be one of the best closers in the game, and now he's kind of an inconsistent mess. So to kind of close this out really quick, the rest of the other quick teams here, the Brewers, I don't see them getting anywhere without Christian Yelich. If they make the wild card, they'll lose first round. The Nationals, again, same problem with a lot of these National League teams. They just don't have the bullpen to really win against some of these bigger teams. I mean, the Braves, again, are in a similar situation, but I think their bullpen has just exceeded expectations, so they're playing better than a lot of people are honestly giving them credit for. And they have a dangerous lineup. So it's probably Braves, Dodgers, NLCS, Yankees, Astros, ALCS. My hope is Yankees against anybody, but my prediction is still Yankees. And then I don't know, honestly, in the National League. It could really be the Dodgers, the Braves, or the Cardinals. I'd like to see the Cardinals. I think that'd be cool, but it's probably going to be the Dodgers. I think that just is the safest pick. The media would love that. It'd be a great spectacle. So just kind of wrap up this segment. We're going to be back in like a minute or two with some football segments. Probably going to be college football to start off with. So that's pretty much the baseball news here on the Talk with AVC. I thank you very much all for listening. I hope you stay tuned for the rest of the show. But if not, thank you very much for listening. And I'll see you in the next segment.